We're going to talk about affordability. When people say they're moving to Dayton, most people generally are saying they're moving to the suburbs. They're talking about the Dayton suburbs specifically. Centerville, Bellbrook, Oakwood, Kettering, even Springboro. That's what we're going to be comparing today, the Dayton suburban community versus the rest of the country in terms of affordability. If you're not from the Dayton area or you're just getting familiar with the Dayton area, this video is for you. Stay tuned. When we're talking about affordability, let's say the United States index number is 100. That easily puts the greater Dayton area at a 95 index number compared to the rest of the country. On average, the homes and the cost of living is anywhere from 5 to 10% less here in the greater Dayton area than almost anywhere else in the country. Even in the suburbs, where homes are a little bit newer and the schools are a lot stronger, Dayton still comes in about 5 to 10% cheaper than the national average overall. Therefore, your paycheck, it goes a little bit further here in the greater Dayton area, and the housing savings that you have can potentially offset some of the other things here that are slightly higher, still making it extremely affordable, and your lifestyle costs are manageable, allowing you and your family to not only save, but also enjoy your life, take those trips, and do the things that the American dream is all about. The number one most important thing that a lot of you are probably watching this video for is the housing cost here in the greater Dayton area. Typically, the median price points in the Dayton suburbs can go anywhere from around $275,000 up to around $350,000. Now, obviously, that can be a little bit lower or a little bit higher, but those are the averages when you're looking in the greater Dayton suburbs in Kettering, Centerville, Oakwood, Springboro, and Bellbrook. Also, the U.S. median right now in terms of housing prices is around $410,000 to $450,000. Right off the bat, the median price point here in the greater Dayton area is close to $100,000, if not $150,000 or more less than anywhere else in the country. That makes affordability really strong when it comes here to Dayton, and one of the main reasons a lot of my clients that relocate here for work, or if they're PCSing here to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and if they have to move again in the future, they end up coming back here to make this their final destination because of the cost savings and the cost of living. Most buyers I work with in the Dayton suburbs are shopping in the high $200,000 price point to the mid $300,000 price point, sometimes higher depending on the area and depending on their circumstances. A starter suburban home in greater Dayton area is going to be around $240,000 to $275,000. And your typical move-up family home is going to be anywhere from $300,000 to $375,000. Premium suburbs, your top school districts, all the things that you really aspire to in most circumstances, the housing prices there can go anywhere from $400,000 to $500,000. And those are large homes. If you're coming from anywhere outside the greater Dayton area and your price point is upwards of $500,000, you have a certain style of home in mind. But when you come here to Dayton, you find that the square footage is larger, the school systems are stronger, and there's a lot of advantages to being in the suburbs of Dayton, Ohio. So in many U.S. cities, the same house would cost $100,000 to even $200,000 or more. And that can go up and up depending on where you're coming from in different parts of the country. Now, in terms of our rental index, we have on average 2-bedroom apartments here. If you're looking to rent, they can average anywhere in the suburbs from $1,300 up to around $1,600. If you're looking for a single family rental here in the greater Dayton area, that can start right around $1,900 on upwards to $2,400. Those rent prices, a lot of buyers realize that they can own a home for similar cost per month. And especially with today's loan programs, it's easier than ever for buyers and renters to get into a home here in the greater Dayton area compared to almost anywhere else in the country. If you're thinking about coming to the area and you've been a renter up until this point, Dayton may be the place where that dream comes true and you're able to get yourself and your family into a home. Now, when we're talking about affordability, there's a lot more than just the housing costs. I do real estate, but I also realize there's a lot more to budgeting than just what you can afford in terms of your rent or in terms of your monthly mortgage. And the number one thing people like to look at is what are the grocery prices like here in the greater Dayton area and in the suburbs. And on average, they are slightly lower than the U.S. average, if not very close to the U.S. average. There's no huge swings one way or the other from one neighborhood to the other, whether you're buying buying your groceries in Springboro, or you're buying your groceries in Centerville, or you're buying your groceries in Vandalia, there's no huge difference from one area to the other. Groceries in the Dayton area, they feel pretty normal. They're not cheap, they're not expensive by any means, they're just steady. There's no surprise inflation when you come here. In some of my travels, when I've traveled to different parts of the country, such as New York, California, Florida, and Hawaii, the prices of groceries and the cost of living skyrockets. And that's simply because the population is so dense and the supply is not there to support everything the way it does here in the greater Dayton area. The prices here tend to stay really steady, if not lower than the national averages. Also, when we're talking about affordability, we've already talked about the cost of living if you're buying a house or if you're renting. We've talked about groceries. The next item that everybody wants to know about, especially if they're buying a home, is the utility costs. I'm not going to lie to you here. The utility costs here in the greater Dayton area can be slightly higher than they are in other parts of the country. On average, in the Dayton suburbs, combining all your utilities together, the average utility bill for everything, that includes your water, your sewer, your trash, your electric, and even your gas, if you have gas in the home, can run anywhere from $230 to $270. And that's on average. We're not accounting for winter and summer months where your heating or cooling bill could be higher than they normally are the rest of the year. And on average, when you compare that to the United States average, the average utility cost is around $210 to $220 a month. We are slightly higher here, but it's not necessarily because we have a higher rate. A lot of that has to do because a lot of the homes that you're buying here in the greater Dayton area are bigger, and the energy is not overpriced. Naturally, if you have more square footage in your home in Ohio than you do from where you're coming from outside of Ohio, your energy costs are going to be slightly higher because you have a larger home, using more water, more electric, and definitely more heat or air conditioning. Keep in mind, in the summer times, we have temperatures excess of 95 to 100 degrees. I know if you're watching this video from Arizona, you're thinking that's nothing, but when you also compare that to the winter times, where sometimes we have sub-zero temperatures for weeks at a time, your utility bills can be a little bit higher. I'm not going to feed you any sort of line that says that utility costs are not a little bit higher. They are, but not in terms of the rate, just in terms of the size of the house. If you're coming here from a commuter city, or you're coming here from somewhere where you use public transportation all the time, you're going to find that the average cost for transportation in Dayton is much lower. We don't have as much access to public transportation beyond the RTA bus system that does go to the suburbs and the intercity areas, but our average cost is much, much lower. There are very predictable expenses when it comes to driving to and from anywhere, work, school, play, you name it, here in the greater Dayton area. If you're used to driving, Dayton suburbs feel very normal. There are no toll roads, there are no extreme commuting costs, and no big city insurance premiums that you're going to have to worry about when you come here to the area. Right now, if you're coming from a very large city like New York City, San Francisco, Orlando, Dallas, anywhere like that, and you're coming here to the area, you may actually see your car insurance go down ever so slightly because we do not have that large infrastructure that some of those larger cities do, and that's a good thing. It keeps that cost down, once again adding into the affordability index that keeps Dayton 5 to 10% lower than anywhere else in the country. An item that we hear about in the news all the time that people think about, but maybe they don't calculate in terms of their monthly budget or their overall family's budget, and that is the healthcare cost here in the greater Dayton area. We have some of the best healthcare you're going to find anywhere, such as Miami Valley Hospital and the Kettering Health Network. But our health insurance costs do run, on average, about 10 to 20%, if not 25% higher than anywhere else in the country. That's not necessarily the premiums, that's just the cost of health care. That is true whether you're in the city or you're in the suburbs. I like to be an open book. Always tell my buyers up front when they're moving here to the area, there are no big surprises once they fall in love with that home and fall in love with the community that they're going to raise their family in. Your healthcare costs could be a little bit higher, but when you combine that with everything else being much, much lower, you still come out in the green. Let's talk about the average, if not slightly above average, family in the greater Dayton area, especially in the suburbs, a household income of anywhere from $90,000 to $100,000. What does the lifestyle look like for those families? Those families here in the suburbs of Dayton, Ohio, have a single family home. They can save monthly because of the cost of living, and they can travel occasionally because they're not living paycheck to paycheck necessarily. They're saving a lot because of that affordability index being lower here in Dayton. They have their kids that can get involved with activities and hobbies. They're not limited because the cost of living is so low. That's what the average family here in the suburbs looks like. Compare that to major U.S. metro areas. The same lifestyle would require about $130,000 to $150,000 of household income to achieve the same goal. You can actually live here in Dayton, make a little bit less, maybe, and have the ability to not only have a single family home, afford everything, go out to eat, take your family on those vacations, and even save at the end of the day. But when it comes to affordability, that is why so many buyers choose the greater Dayton suburbs as their home. You get the space, you get the schools, you get the stability, and you're not paying those big city prices. I'm a Midwesterner. I grew up here in the greater Dayton area. I've lived here my entire life, and I've been selling real estate for over 21 years. And I know the value of the affordability when it comes time for you to choose the greater Dayton area and its suburbs as your home. Whether you're relocating here or you're looking to purchase your home and you grew up in the area and this is your first time venturing out into the American dream. My name is David Moyer. I'm with Keller Williams Advisors and David Moyer Real Estate right here in Dayton, Ohio. I've been practicing real estate since 2005, and I am eager to help you experience all that Dayton has to offer and help you live a fantastic and affordable life. Thanks for watching. Oh, and before we go, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, make sure you not only like the video, but you also subscribe to the channel. I have really valuable videos that I drop every single week, various topics that are going to help you, whether you're a first-time home buyer, a move-up home buyer, you're relocating here to the area, you're PCSing to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, I can help you out. And you can also send these videos to somebody else that maybe has some dying questions that they just don't know where to start. If you have questions yourself, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and answer all of your questions. You can also find all of my contact information below in the description as well as in my bio. Thanks again.